Welcome all to this tutorial. Today I will talk about pointers and files. After that, we will go straight into actually writing the code for a keylogger. We will begin writing our keylogger. So you are only 2 subjects away and 1 tutorial away from writing a real keylogger that will actually record keystrokes. Please keep in mind that initially I will try to either create it myself or just find one on the net that is really simple. I mean the most basic of the basic, so that you can only record keystrokes. And then we will try to expand upon it. We will keep on adding functions to it, and we will see how far we will actually go. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So, one of the things that you will need to know are, well, basically need to know what pointers are. Basically, they store memory addresses of other variables. That's it. No big deal there. The way you would use it, the way you would use pointers in the most simple of example, in the simplest possible example. Later on we will do more complex examples as we start programming the keylogger, but for the time being, let's just keep it simple. You would type in, let's declare a variable first. Let's create the variable num. And let's assign it a value of 10. So now we would like to create a pointer that points to this variable. How do we do that? Well, we basically just, we take a look at this and let's disassemble it. So this is of type int. This is an integer. The variable has a name of num and it has an assigned value of 10. Okay. In order to create a pointer that points to it, it needs to be of the same type, so int, and then we add an asterisk, and then we give it a name, so we can name it whatever we like, pretty much. I'm gonna go ahead and name it PTR, so as in pointer, PTR as in pointer, and then afterwards we need to tell it, we actually need to tell it to actually point to this variable. So how do we do that? We type in PTR equals, and we need to type in an $sign num. $sign num, that's the memory address of num. Okay, so let's delete this PTR. Let's do that. Like this. Come on, are you serious? There we go. Now let's go ahead and write a cout instruction. Cout, and let's go ahead and output num, and go ahead and do this. I'm going to put 2 colons here, just separate these 2 values, and then we will output the value of PTR. So theoretically, what we want to do is for these 2 values, when they get outputted, we would like them to be the same, but in this case they won't. You'll see why. There you go. So num is 10 as it is supposed to be, and you get this ugly thing here. This is a thing. Okay, so it's not a thing, it's a number, a hexadecimal number, regardless of the fact that it has letters inside 0x. That simply specifies that this is a hexadecimal number. And then you have hexadecimal numbers. Go like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then A, B, C, D, E, F. Yep, there we go. F is the last. If I am mistaken here by some crazy chance, feel free to hang me in the discussions. Anyway, that would be the memory address of num. It's not particularly useful to us now, and it's definitely not useful to us when we read it like this. It's garbage, let's put it like that. It has its uses, but if we wanted to output the value of num, the assigned value of num, well, simple enough, just type in an asterisk here, and let's go ahead and run it. Tick-tock, there we go. So it's 10, and then you have colon, den. Simple as that, no big deal. Now this is a very basic example. As I said, later on we will go through, we will see some other examples of how pointers are used, and hopefully as we go through the process of the creation of the keylogger, you will be able to solidify what you have learned thus far and learn a lot of new things. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this. And we don't really need this slider for the time being. Let's go ahead and deal with files. Now, why do we need files? What on earth are we going to use them for? Well, if we're going to make a keylogger, we will definitely need to know how to use files. Because, hey, if you have a keylogger on somebody's system, you will be storing those particular files that you will be, where will you store the keys? So where will you store the keys that are typed in the keyboard? Well, to a file. And somebody presses, I don't know, ABCD will be written to a file somewhere. You will see how it stands to reason that we need to know how to actually write to a file using purely C++ and nothing else. This is a very simple process. It's not very complicated. It's very similar to cout and cin. All you need to do up here is type in include fstream so that we would be able to do this. And let's go ahead and deal with writing to a file first. We need to create an output stream. So type in OF stream and we'll give it a name of write. That seems the most logical thing. You can write whatever you want here. I don't really care. Write. And then let's go ahead and get quotation marks and go ahead and we need to specify the path. If you don't specify the path, it will be in your projects folder. So your projects folder is here. Basically, if you didn't change anything, it should be here. So if you click on local disk C, users, creator, well, obviously for you, you will have a different username. I'm just going to go ahead and click on mine. So just go ahead and click on the username of the user that you are using at the moment. Now go ahead and look for workspace. Go ahead and click on it and look for your project here. So our project is a keylogger. And it will pop here. You see I already have it from my tests before. Let's go ahead and delete it as I don't need it. So it will be here. Just gonna minimize this. Anyway, so let's go ahead and write and specify our file path. So type in C:\\. Now backslash is an escape character used to escape the quotation mark. So you need to type in 2 backslashes if you want to see your backslash in the string that is printed out in this sentence, at the statement, wherever you wish to call it. So C:\\, users, and then I'm going to do // again, creator, and this is where I would like to create this file in this particular folder. To see. Okay, yeah, we will create it here. You need to pay attention. You give it a path, and you need to make sure that you can actually write there. If you can't write anything there, you won't be able to create the file or anything of a kind. By the way, what we have written here is the equivalent of this. So just do. This is how the system. This is how it will be for the system, because we have entered backslashes here, so that the backslashes could be interpreted as such. As I stated, backslashes are escape characters, so if you need some character to escape these quotation marks and be interpreted as a command or something of a kind, then you would type in a backslash. Let me show you what I mean by that. let's comment out this line just to make sure there are no confusions here. So if I type in cout, and if I open up quotation marks, and if I type in random text, it goes here in case you did not know. And if I type in backslash here, and if I type in n, that stands for a new line. Backslash n is for a new line, so we're escaping it. And let's go ahead and add something else. Random text goes here in case you didn't know. In case you did. In case you did write something. There we go. So let's just go ahead and do this. So there are no and else here or anything of a kind. There was just this escape character with n. Let's go ahead and spin this command around. Here, random text goes here in case you did not know, in case you did write something. So we will be using some of this later on as well. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, output file stream, right? And now we need to actually write something to that file. Well, how do we do that? Take a wild guess. You just type in write, pretty much the same as cout. And let's go ahead and type in some text here. Oh, right. I knew I was forgetting something when I was looking at this. We need to provide the name of the file. So our file.txt. How wonderful of me that I forgot this. Oh well, things happen when you program. You will encounter more than one problem by just forgetting things. Right? So what shall we put into this text file? Let's type in this. Windows is awesome. I like working in it. I like all the freedom. I like all the freedom that I have in it as opposed to Linux. This statement makes so much sense. Anyway, you can do this, what I did now. So you see how the quotation marks are here. And then you can just press enter, go into the new line, and then add quotation marks here. This is all the same line to the computer. You're just doing this for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and compile. Let's go ahead and compile and run this. So yes, go ahead. Errors. What errors? A semicolon, of course. Done. It didn't print anything out to the screen. So we need to actually, because we didn't tell it to print anything out, we need to actually go ahead and check it. This is the folder where it is. So let's see if we can find it. There we go. It says our file.txt. Says Windows is awesome. I like working in it. I like all the freedom that I have in it as opposed to Linux. I failed to put a space there. No big deal. There we go. Now it's gonna do it. Let's do a test run. So you see this is all one line. If I didn't put a space here or here, it just interprets it as one single line as being together, no spaces. But now, do I have a space? Yep, there we go, as opposed to Linux. Okay, so that's how you write to your file, and at the end you should always close the file. To close the file, you have a built-in function. You just type in, right? So whatever you've typed in, whatever you've named it, whenever you name this output file stream, just go ahead and use that. Dot is, no, I don't need is open. I need close. And do this. There we go. this will effectively close the file. You can't actually see this happening, but that's something to do. If you do this, you can save yourselves a lot of trouble, a lot of headache actually later on. Anyway, let's go ahead and delete this as we no longer need it. Now let's figure out how we can actually read from a file. So this is what I will just do, a basic reading from a file. No big deal, but later on we will need to do a loop, combine this with loops, continuous loops, infinite. We will need to combine it with infinite loops so that it actually reads through the whole file continuously. For the time being, I just want to show you how you can read an individual character from a line from a file. That's it, nothing else. How would you do this? Well, you would need to type in input file stream, and let's call it read. You can call it again with the name of your choice. Let's give it a path again. C users to our file.txt. There we go. And how do you read from this? Well, you need a file. You need a variable in which to store it. So string x. And down below, we will type in read greater than sign and read it into X, please. This will only read the first word into X. It will reach only until the first space comes along. And we will type in now C out. Okay, and X, please output X. Let's go ahead and run this. To Windows, so that was the first word, and it interpreted a nope. Where is it? You see, Windows is the first word, and then we have a space here. I will later on show you how you can read a whole file regardless of its length, regardless of how many spaces there are, regardless of the length, and so on and so forth. But it's not very complicated. You need to create a loop and know how to handle it. We will, of course, do this because we will need to read from a file and then write to a file as well for our keylogger, because that will be the place where our keylogger stores the information, and then we need to figure out what we want to do with that information, whether we want to send it somewhere or not. Usually we will decide to actually send it somewhere. Anyway, I am gonna bid you all farewell here until the next tutorial, and in the next tutorial we're actually going to start creating our first keylogger that will be really simple, really primitive, and we'll see how that works out, and then from that point on we can start adding some features as well. Anyway, goodbye.